Welcome to Sustainability Talks, the platform where we delve into the realm of sustainability practices. I'm your host Ram Khandelwal, and today we have an extraordinary guest joining us, Mr. Siddarth Ramakanth. Siddarth is a seasoned power sector professional with a wealth of experience spanning over 8 years. His expertise lies in advising training enterprises, agencies, and government. But what truly sets Siddharth apart is his profound involvement in sustainable and renewable energy. He has been at the forefront of numerous renewable energy projects with a cumulative capacity of around 1200 megawatts. His responsibilities have ranged from techno-economic feasibility studies to strategic consulting, financial modeling to e-mobility integration, and even extending his expertise to countries like Democratic Republic of Congo, Burkina Faso, Kenya, and Indonesia. Siddharth truly embodies a global perspective on clean energy and power sector development. And let's not forget Siddharth's notable work in the conventional power sector, from electricity regulatory and tariff advisory to power distribution. His contributions have spanned the entire power sector value chain. Siddharth has been instrumental in capacity building, program management, policy formulation, and advocacy, all while challenging regulations in high courts and identifying market entry opportunities. Today, we have the privilege of tapping into Siddharth's immense knowledge and experience, focusing on sustainability, renewable energy, and the future of power sector. So without further ado, let's dive right in and explore the fascinating world of sustainable energy with Siddarth Ramakant. Hello, Siddharth. Welcome to our show.
Hello Ram, nice meeting you.
Thank you. So, how are you doing today, Siddharth?
Good Ram, pretty much good and energetic. Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Siddharth. So, for our viewers, Siddharth, because we are focusing on how sustainability is playing a role on ground, so I'd like to start with a very simple question that as a sector professional who works in renewable energy and has played a great role, how do you think sustainability comes into play into the work that you do?
See, to start with, um, always have like five-word mantra where take environmental into consideration, take social impact into consideration, then take the economic viability. Then you talk about uh, you know the intended benefits of the particular project, and then collaborating with the communities. So like when we talk about renewable energy projects like solar, wind, biomass, you know, it looks pretty green, it looks pretty sustainable based on the words, but the same projects can go completely wrong when you do not consider environmental impact, social impact. When you do a project, assure that there is minimal damage to the ecosystem, minimal damage to the livelihood of the public there. Try to collaborate with the communities as much as possible. Try to create local employment, and then have proper corporate governance in place, because the corporates normally invest in the projects, and you have to ensure that corporate governance is intact. And then, having all these things, let the intended benefits to the community, to the society, and to the corporation as part of economic viability need to be intact. When these five facets are addressed, then sustainability can be achieved in any project you intend to do.
Then that's wonderful. I think all these five factors play a very critical role. And I recall the discussion we had earlier, where you talked about the Odisha project and how you integrated sustainability in that project. So, would you like to tell us about a little bit more about the Odisha project to our audience and how it played a role in achieving sustainability?
Sure. So the project which we have discussed, dates back to between probably 2016 to 2018, where it is a 10 megawatt solar power project in a small village in the western part of Odisha, which is Ganjauda. So it's like government of Odisha had a plan of having around 2,500 to 3,000 megawatt of solar power capacity in the state by 2022. And when we talk about Odisha, I mean, I belong to Hyderabad, and for me, Odisha is a is a new state to enter. And uh, the perception which I had about Odisha, it's like a mineral-rich state, probably one of the most industrialized. And when I talk about the happiness indices and at least the media news, Odisha is kind of a peaceful state, is a happy state. But when you actually go deep, when you hit the ground, you realize that probably yes, the coastal Odisha is probably it's good, it's happy, it's developed. But the western part of Odisha still lack adequate infrastructure. So the project, this 10 megawatt project, when we conceptualize it, having land acquisition was one of the challenges. But luckily, our promoters, they had acted well in advance, acquired probably like not even a cent of the land was an agricultural land. So we ensured that at least in the project conceptualization stage and design stage, the environmental aspect and the social aspect need to be addressed, where like we had a clear instruction that do not acquire any agricultural land, then do not touch any land which is of directly or indirectly related to the livelihood, like and then uh, and let us not disturb the communities there. And coming to this 10 megawatt solar power projects, you do not generally connect it to the national grid. 10 megawatt power project can be connected to a 33 kV substation. So what happens is, as an electricity professional, when you have a smaller project, you tend to utilize it for a local area power infrastructure, power availability. So this 10 megawatt project, point one, has increased the availability of electricity in the region. Second, during the construction time, solar power projects normally take 6 to 8 months of time for construction. And way back in 2016, when the sector was still maturing, it took around like 9 months. And then during the 9 months, approximately 70 to 80 jobs, unskilled jobs are created. And most of the time, at least we try to employ those 80 people locally, so that local employment can be generated. See, and when you employ locals, you will get benefit in two ways. One is, uh, you need not spend your efforts in getting the staff from other places, convincing them to work in places like Odisha. Second, you will have the local goodwill, which is expected to turn positive for the project. You expect like there would not be any disturbances in the project. And the third important thing is, during the O&M stage also, you create probably 5 or 6 technical jobs and 20 to 30 intermittent unskilled jobs. So which actually create employment. And then when you have to set up an infrastructure project, the allied infrastructure also comes in. Like we have to lay roads, we also have to lay some distribution lines to the project, which will the byproducts of the project also help the local communities. So in that way, probably sustainability aspect was addressed.
That's very interesting, Siddharth. In fact, you kind of touched upon all three aspects of sustainability, which is environment, social, and economy. In terms of environment, I can clearly see that there was a provision for clean energy which was made. So now we are not depending upon renewable energy and fossil fuels for power requirements. Plus, you have also taken into account considerations like whether the land is fertile or what kind of land where we are siting these facilities so that it does not hamper the local environmental conditions. Uh, when we look at the social side, I think you very clearly highlighted that you are creating local jobs, so helping improve the livelihoods of local people. As well as you also talked about how these projects created infrastructure which helped in improving quality of life, be it roads or any other social amenities and facilities which can help in the social upliftment of the sector. And of course, the economic sustainability part of it, where you are actually bringing down the cost of meeting the power requirements by using alternative sources of energy. So that's actually touching across a typical solar power project. I can see that it has cut across all the three dimensions of sustainability we generally talk about. So tell us a little more about your involvement in this project, Siddharth. So what was your journey like? How did you start this project? And during the course of project, how you have seen things happening? Please enlighten us.
Sure. So my role in the project was a project management consultant. Uh, and probably I have started uh, started involving myself in the project probably 1 or 2 months after the project was conceptualized, and probably 30-40% of the land was acquired by then. So uh, starting any project on desk, any consulting project actually looks very easy, and the difficulties start as you close the project. But in the infrastructure projects, the problems start when you problems are more when you start a project, and as you go towards the end, as you go towards commissioning the project, probably all the problems, all the issues which you initially faced, probably they become the strength of your project. So as you have mentioned, the initial part of ensuring agriculture land is not acquired for this particular project, and creating local employment, hiring locals as much as possible. See, it was very interesting where solar power projects, or in that case any infrastructure projects except for roads, you acquire land in remote areas, in villages, because you like it does not make any financial sense to acquire land in cities where the cost of real estate is very much. But again, the urban population do have information about the project which we are constructing, and they do not have any inhibitions. But unlike urban population, rural population can have a lot of inhibitions, can have a lot of uh, you know uh, fake reservations on the project. There is a classic case between Punjab and Haryana when Bakadangal project was being constructed. There was a political argument that the essence of the water is removed with the help of power plant, because of that hydropower plant, and the water downstream probably may not be as good. This particular statement does not make any sense, but trust me, in villages such statements and such inhibitions come, even if it is a solar power project or a thermal power project or a hydropower project. you know um, uh, in a place where of course it did not make an issue, but a few of the local villagers, they came to us in a very innocent way, asking us, you are constructing a solar power project, you are basically capturing sun, so are you capturing our god? Of course we could explain them, that's not the case. We have shown them some kind of YouTube videos and all these things, but then inhibitions do creep in, and it may cause problems if you do not sensitize them. So in the beginning, our first motive, or our first task, was to sensitize people on what kind of project we are developing, and what kind of equipment come in, what kind of employment opportunities would be generated, and in which type of employment opportunities we will hire locals. And we will also sensitize the outsiders also to uh, adapt to the local customs and local cultures, sensitize them so that it should not create a cultural issue again. And then despite of all these things, what happens in a solar power project, we have to get the modules out from outside, heavy equipment which requires the transportation, or we use a lot of trucks. And in villages, what happens when the truck goes? It creates lot of dust, and definitely that's not what you want, right? And villages will definitely get pissed off. So addressing the problems like that, then there would be some kind of miscreants where they just want to create an issue, probably to get some money out of them and all. And then to acquiring the land or ROW for the transmission lines, you know uh, we had faced certain challenges. We could overcome them in few cases by sensitizing them, in few cases by compensating them, and in few cases by the use of law or law enforcement. And but despite of a couple of challenges which we faced, our project was commissioned probably with very minimum delays.
That's wonderful, Siddharth. And in fact, you have highlighted very important practical challenges which come up in implementation of solar power projects. I really liked your insight, like when trucks are moving and it is causing dust in local areas, plus there are inhibitions in the local communities with respect to what's going to happen, and a law and order situation might become difficult. Communication becomes one of the key components. How do you onboard local people in what you are doing, get their support, and so on? Uh, from your perspective of working on this project, Siddharth, can you kind of help us understand with one or two examples that when you face these challenges, what exactly that you did, which can also inform our viewers that if they are facing similar issues, then what could be the possible approaches? Because your project didn't face much delay, so I'm assuming that your strategies worked effectively. So would you like to share some of your insights on that?
Yeah, sure. So you know in the initial stages of the project, when we were actually getting the land cleared, and land making needs to happen, because a 10 megawatt power plant needs approximately 50 to 55 acres of land. Okay, and 50-55 acres is not so easy to acquire. And also, since we have ensured that no agricultural land is utilized, they were probably barren lands with lot of old lot of shrubs, lot of unwanted thorny shrubs and all. But then there was one tree in the middle of the in the middle of the site. And um, and we did not anticipate it or anything. But I mean, I'm not promoting or advocating the superstitions, but whenever we try to get the tree cut, our equipment used to get failed. Our JCBs used to get failed. And people, person who committed that tomorrow he'll come and cut it with the axe, he gets sick and all. So I mean, of course, but still the tree need to be cleared, because we have made all arrangements to shift the tree from one place to another, and also we have paid the compensation, the green compensation. But then the tree need to be removed. So we went to the local panchayat area, the elderly people, and then we have asked them for the suggestion. This is the problem we are facing, what to do. Then they told that, see, this is a tree which is have some devi in it, so you need to perform a couple of, I mean, that okay, fine, we will do it. But then we do not advocate it, but you give me a suggestion, you do it for us. Then they have accepted it. But then might have definitely hurted the sentiments of few villages, right? And then, as expected, after 15, no, not even 15 days, probably 5 or 6 days, there was an attack. I was traveling in a car from the project site to my guest house, and there was an attack on me with an axe on the car. So the windshield was broken. Luckily, I protected myself with a bag, and then I ran. That's an issue. But see, I had two options. One, to say, I mean, escalate this issue to the promoter, saying that I'm sorry, I can't work on this project anymore. But then I have realized that no. See, because 2013, 2016, 17, I was hardly 2.5, 3 years experience person. So I for me it was like a jid. It was like I want to do this project at any cost. Then I have used this law enforcement this thing. I have asked police to come to the place where the attack happened. Then with the help of loudspeakers and all, we try to sensitize and also try to give them a warning that such things should not happen. And then we have identified those three people who attacked me. And then my promoter was, he was so proactive and he was so you know uh, uh, I mean good in humanitarian acts. He hired those three people as security guards for the project. So basically the three major the three major dangerous people for a project manager, if they are the security guards, security personnel of the site, then definitely one issue was addressed, right? And regarding those lorry movements and all, people also complain that the lorries trucks move in the evening times. They also steal the steal our equipment and all these things. They also do some kind of misbehavior with the local women, girls and all. Then we have sensitized them, that yes, the lorry movement will happen only during the daytime, and project team would be there along with the vehicle through the entire stretch of 8 to 10 kilometers. And then to address this dust problem, we used to moisten the land, so that moisten the roads, so that when the road is wet, the dust will not fly, right? So all those things, the ways we resolved it were very simple, but those were required, but they proved very effective in addressing the problems. And then we had a couple of issues, asking for extra compensation for the land after the project was almost the construction started. Then they were small people used to steal the solar modules. They don't even know what to do with solar modules, but then they used to steal those modules because they come in very very robust packaging and all. Then again sensitizing them, and also installing a couple of modules on their huts, so that to which can help them in getting their uh, TV, or probably fan and all working during daytimes. So these things really helped us in getting the project completed despite of challenges.
That's very interesting set of insights, Siddharth. In fact, when we talk about sustainability, we generally feel that simply by prescribing that a solar power plant should come up and the problem will be solved. But there are so many practical challenges which are out there. And these challenges are not just technological challenges, but these also relate to the social fabric and the cultural fabric, which needs to be handled very sensitively. And I think very simple solutions like moistening the land to reduce the dust are very effective ways, and communication in this entire process plays a great role. So if you are not able to connect with local communities, I think you are missing on one of the critical components, being able to understand the cultural importance of what happens. So maybe you as a scientific person may not believe in, but in order to get the buy-in of people, in order to make sure that you have that local support, you need to kind of help them go along with their culture and traditions and be a part of their process and align your approaches to that. So these learnings are very practical, and anybody who's working in field and taking these global agendas to local level and then trying to implement this, I think these lessons are very useful. I Before we kind of come to a close to this discussion, I'd just like to ask you, Siddharth, that what are the key learnings which you would like to suggest to other sustainability professionals who are working in similar capacities, and what can they learn from your experience?
The first mantra and the main mantra would be probably having your eyes and ears open to the ground reality. I understand, most of these projects happen in very remote places, but it is worth spending time in the area. in the beginning stage, in the during the construction phase and before commissioning phase, to understand in the beginning stage, in the during the construction phase and before commissioning phase, to understand, are we doing it the right? See, there is no incentive for not collaborating with the, probably your your expenses probably may increase, but still every project have got a provision for, and trust me, the expenditure where you spend for collaborating with the local communities far less than the interest during the construction if the project gets, it's a simple math, simple economic sense where people need to understand. And second thing is, it's always wise to train and employ the local people as much as possible, because many of the activities does not require skill. Probably how to identify between two sets of buyers. A basic ITI training can be imparted in, and that 2 months can be utilized during the making up of land, because that 10 megawatt power plant was in 2016, but now all the power plants are of 200 megawatt, 250 megawatt. So you probably required 1000 to 1200 acres of land, and even making the land requires 2 to 3 months of time. So identify the set of people, give them a contract of 1 year or train them, and definitely your project.
I think I love both the points which you talked about, and they are really impactful learnings from what you suggest. And I totally agree with you that when these infrastructure projects are happening, they are pre-project preparatory activities, which takes a gestation period. And that's a wonderful time to actually connect with these local communities, start building repo, and started engaging them. That's a really lovely way of solving this problem. So that's really insightful, Siddharth, and thank you so much for sharing time with us today and sharing your knowledge with us. I'm sure a lot of our viewers who are working in the areas of sustainability would gain a lot of insights from your experience, and when they are planning their solar power projects to meet their sustainability goals, they kind of take care of these areas related to communication, building local repo, finding solutions which may not be written in scientific manuals and guides, but comes from practical experience and observations working on ground with local communities. So I again thank you so much, Siddharth, for joining us today. And to our audience, I hope you loved this episode. And if you would like to know more about these projects from Siddharth, please do write back to us. And we look forward to meeting you again in another episode with another story which would dwell upon another aspect of sustainability. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Siddharth. Have a wonderful day.